Alright guys, Nick from Stoltec Moto. Sur Ron Ultra Bee out on the trails. If you want to call that a trail, it's hard to find with all these leaves down. It's late October and it's warmer than it usually is. It's in the mid 60s here. Today's a gift. It was supposed to rain all day and it didn't. I wasn't planning on riding today, but I couldn't miss the opportunity. So I want to get out for a ride. I actually want to talk about a recent event, this Hare Scramble that we did, and was hoping to take some live video there, which I'll get into the story. The footage was no good because of all the mud, but wanted to talk to you guys about it, because if you're interested in using the bike competitively, if you want to call it that, some considerations for you. The terrain, very similar. What's around here? This is not where the race was, but very similar terrain. Obviously these trails are covered in leaves, much different environment. So as I said, I'm going to talk about what happened at the race, and you guys could watch some slow footage of me riding. I'm out here alone, a little tired today because, like I said, I wasn't planning on riding, and I did about 40 laps at the pool this morning, so not as fresh as I probably could have been. But at any rate, what better way to talk about the bike than being on the bike? So let's go do a few miles here. We'll talk about it. So bear with me on these leaves here. They're a little slippery. So yeah, we didn't have any leaves in this race, but it was muddy. We had about 1.5 inches of rain in about a 24-hour period, and coupled with all the riders in this event, the trail was just a sloppy mess. So anyway, was the D6 District 6 season closer finale, their Ironman event at Evansville Motocross Park. Used a few pieces of their tracks, but it was in the woods. It was a 2-hour event, which is a lot for most people. The bike didn't finish it. I'll get right to the point. You guys are wondering. Bike didn't finish it, which was a shame for so many reasons, but mostly because I was still wanting to ride. So first thing first, it was cold. Well, cool, I guess. Not everybody will consider this cold. Oy. 48 degrees. So the battery was not warmed up. It was on the back of the truck. 48 degrees for an 1.5-hour ride to get there. So in that sense, the battery was cold, thermally soaked. So that's a bit of a worst case. As I mentioned, it was also muddy. So there was a lot of wheel spin, which I'll talk to in a minute on traction. The tire was spinning and the bike wasn't going quite as fast as we would normally ride. Had the bike in D mode because frankly I was concerned on how the bike was going to behave with range. So every lap I was really looking at that mileage and the battery meter to get a sense over if it was going to finish. As I mentioned, it still caught me out. So stock gearing, stock chain. It was clean and lubed, but it was stock. So different gearing and a different chain, non-O-ring chain, would have had an effect over the range. But of course, a big part of it was just the mud. It was really thick mud, actually, really sticky. As you guys hopefully see from the picture I put up here, we gained 20 or 30 pounds worth of mud. Not only did I pressure wash the bike, I had to pressure wash my gear. It was just that mucky. So unlike a gas bike, it uses a little bit of fuel, not 20 pounds worth of fuel, mind you, but uses some weight. This bike gains weight because the battery obviously doesn't shed weight when the range depletes. So the bike got heavier. which also had an impact over the suspension. I'm about 205 pounds in gear. Stock suspension right now, on this ride anyway, and that ride. We've been doing some development, which we're going to have very soon. But this was stock suspension. And the rear was definitely way too soft. Way too soft. It was bottoming out over the bigger drops. There was a section of the track, what about a, I don't know, 3 to 5 foot drop after a set of rollers. And no matter how I launched the bike or landed it, it ate up all the travel. So, rear suspension, very soft. Forks, I know there's a lot of consternation out there for these forks. They're not bad. They're not amazing. They're not bad. They could be more plush, but I think depending on the type of riding you do, if you're trying to get out to the track, even the small tracks, the front's kind of built to be a little safer. It's going to hold you up in that stroke. The rear is definitely too soft for some of the aggressive riding, but you know, try it for a jack of all trades approach. I don't think they did terrible. So yeah, the bike didn't make it 19-20 miles. A lot of pushing involved. But traction-wise, we'll talk to you about that. I was a little concerned, especially on some of the hill climbs. Short wheelbase that this is. Short swing arm, short wheelbase. Was concerned on the climbs, especially with that electric power. It helped being in D mode, as I said, but I'm also running tubeless. I run about 8.5 psi rear, 9.5 in the front, which frankly I still think needs a little bit of tuning there. But traction was good. Whatever hills this thing went up, other people didn't. So, of course, that could be said about any rider on any bike, any day. But didn't do too bad. Power-wise, aside from the fact I had to do some pushing at the end, it was good. If this is the type of riding that you're doing, tight stuff like this, power's not bad. If you're out west in the desert or wide open spaces, I could see a controller upgrade in your future. Maybe a bigger battery. So yeah, I'd say the bike did pretty well. Would I say it's ready for competition? No, of course not. Not in stock form. Definitely needs the wheels and tires. Suspension could be a problem for some guys' weight and pace. And of course, there's the range. As I said, could have been better. But as I said, still loving this bike. I prefer riding this in the woods than my gas bike. Your mileage may vary, but I love it. Especially when you stop and you listen. I wasn't rolling the footage before, but came up on a couple deer. I had no idea I was here. That's how I heard the leads more than the bike, which is really amazing. My local area here, zoning wise, they've been doing planning, telling us that they expect regional population growth up 40% over the next 10 years, which is probably true based on what we've seen. And I think the point there is that noise and riding excess, like a lot of what Europe's going through, these problems aren't going away. So, trail erosion aside, certainly don't go poaching your mountain bike trails. Please don't do that. Mountain bikers tend to be better organized and a little bit closer to the Sierra Club's mission than dirt bikers. So please be respectful. But point being, access to riding areas early in the morning, late at night, or close to residential areas are not a problem anymore. So a lot of exciting times ahead between the Stark, CF Moto. I just saw has a release coming out at some point. A lot of full-size dirt bikes coming out, which I think are going to be amazing. At least the potential is amazing. So anyway, at this point I'm rambling. I'll stop talking. If you guys have any questions, feel free to give us a call. Old school. Leave us a comment down below. Send us an email on the website. We have a lot of products we've been working on this year for this bike, and they're going to be coming out this winter. So, if any questions, get in touch. Until then, ride safe. There goes Yogi. Big old boy. Guess that's a problem when you're electric. Scared the bear.